Michelle Barron, Deputy Editor at Afar. Welcome to View from Afar, a podcast that spotlights the people and ideas shaping the future of travel. And in this special series, I'm coming to you live from the floor of IPW, the annual travel conference organized by the U.S. Travel Association to share the best of America with the rest of the world. In this episode, I'm talking about travel and tourism marketing with someone who knows the industry extremely well and knows what it takes to succeed. Her name is Ann Sayers, and she's been Wisconsin's Secretary of Tourism since December 2020. Since Ann has joined, Wisconsin's tourism industry has experienced record-breaking economic growth. She's also had to navigate some unique challenges, from post-pandemic recovery to positioning Wisconsin as a year-round destination, not just a summer getaway. In fact, the Afar staff gathered in Milwaukee for our annual company meeting during the height of winter this past February. And we were so impressed with the breadth of activities, from the world-class Milwaukee Art Museum to incredible cocktails and cuisine, and crowd favorite duckpin bowling within a classic dive bar. Plus, she's been working to showcase parts of the state that travelers might not immediately think of when they think of Wisconsin. Welcome, Ann. I'm so happy to have you here today.
I am delighted to be here. Thank you for having me.
So I want to take it back a little bit and start with your time in the hospitality and service industry. It's my understanding that you worked in hotels and a coffee shop maybe, and just curious how that informed your approach to tourism marketing.
I grew up in the 90s on the West Coast, and I had this vision of being sort of in a coffee shop, grunge scene, reality bites sort of life. But in the middle of that, my family moved to Minnesota.
Okay.
And so I ended up working in a coffee shop at Mall of America.
Oh my gosh.
Which is, of course, one of the most important tourism destinations in the U.S.
Yeah,
and so
your dream became a reality.
It did, yes. And it was an incredible experience getting to do that frontline hospitality every day. And then I went to school at UW, University of Wisconsin-Madison, and became a badger. And then, I continued to work in hotels and coffee shops. And I loved it. You just learn so much, not just about the human interaction, but just about responsibility and service. And it's just a very rewarding line of work.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love that you describe it as being on the front lines, because that is where all of this starts, right? Is that like human to human interactions and that the hospitality of it. So you stepped into your role in December 2020 at the height of the pandemic. And by 2022, you had led Wisconsin's tourism to a record-breaking year of growth. How did you do it?
I don't know what I was thinking in December of 2020, but we knew that we had something incredibly special in Wisconsin. We knew that we're an affordable destination. It's certainly a drive market with so much to offer everyone in a travel party. So we wanted to just make the most of that. Coming out of the pandemic, saying to people, we have big, wide open spaces, so much to explore, so much to discover. Just get in the car. Come on up, see what you find. And we made the most of that, and we're able to reach into more markets that we've never been in. In 2019, we were in 6 media markets. By 2022, I think we were in 12 or 13 markets. And now today we're in 14 media markets. And that's certainly helped for us to be able to share our message more broadly.
So what are your main source markets? Is it mainly domestic? Do you have a strong international source market as well?
We have a small but mighty international market, and that's certainly something we're looking to grow. That's going to be very important going forward. But right now, the big places are all of the Chicago media market and the Twin Cities, when we're kind of conveniently located between these 2 major metropolitan markets and international airports. And so that is something that we focus on a lot. But all across, we sort of surround the whole state, from Marquette, Michigan, 3 markets in Minnesota, 3 markets in Iowa, 4 markets in Illinois, and several in-state markets is really where we're focusing. But through our public relations programs, we're reaching much more broadly, the entire nation and the entire world. And that's been something that's performing extremely well for us, and I think might be a little bit of our secret sauce going now into our we've just accomplished our 3rd record-breaking year in a row.
So what, in that time when you had that great success and, like you said, expanding your market, what was the messaging that worked? I mean, you mentioned outdoor spaces, but what really kind of worked to draw more people in?
Yeah, definitely the outdoor recreation piece that you mentioned. It is world-class in Wisconsin. I think very unexpected and surprising. We are on 2 Great Lakes. We have the mighty Mississippi River. We're 50% forested. And it's not just the amount, but it's also the quality of that outdoor recreation offering, and then also the variety of activities you can actually do, from cold weather surfing in the middle of winter to rock climbing to some of the best fishing in the entire world, et cetera, et cetera. That goes on and on. The other thing I would say is events. And we see this time and time again that visitors are coming to Wisconsin for our events. We have something crazy going on every single weekend. We celebrate. We just have a huge spirited nature. We love people to come turn out. We have a whole festival just dedicated to the fact that one time a part of the Sputnik satellite fell in a street in Manitowoc, Wisconsin. We celebrate that. So we have a festival for absolutely everything. And then we also have huge sort of keystone festivals like Summerfest, one of the world's largest music festivals, EAA, which is the largest fly-in aviation event in the world. It actually turns Oshkosh into the busiest airport in the world for those days of that event. So events are a big part of it. And then I have to add culinary, which has always been there. We always say in Wisconsin, we kind of call farm to table, we call it eating. We've been doing it for so long. It's such a big part of our heritage, our dairy industry, our farming industry. And we're really excited that lately we've been talking more and more about what cheese. Yes, that's Wisconsin, but we have 600 varieties of cheese. We have master cheesemakers. We have some of the best cheese in the world, winning awards that prove it. And then, we just recently wrapped up Top Chef, where they got to dig a little deeper into all that we have to offer in the culinary space.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it's my understanding that another one of your successes was actually transforming the destination into more of a year-round getaway. So let's talk about, because winter in the Midwest is a tough sell, let's be honest. So how did you get that messaging? I mean, I guess if you're marketing to the Midwest, it's sort of like everybody here is used to it. But I feel like that's also just a great accomplishment as well, making it more of a year-round destination.
Thank you for flagging that. Yes, that is true. The 4-season destination, we really do have gorgeous summers, incredible falls, so colorful. And then the winter is something I think is a real asset. And we can't shy away from that.
Yeah.
It's, of course, if you're into snow sports, downhill, we have the 4th most ski hills in the nation. Cross-country skiing, snowboarding, definitely snowmobiling is a huge part of our winter economic impact.
Yeah.
But it's also for folks that are maybe a little bit more like me, that are looking for cozy cabins and supper clubs and museums.
Yeah,
and just,
I'm getting kind of Haiji vibes from
yes,
Wisconsin.
Exactly. Walking on frozen lakes and candlelight snowshoes. And we have such an incredible offering that way. There's nothing that you can't replicate the peace of a Wisconsin winter unless you come visit. So you have to bring your coat.
Right.
But if you do that, you're going to have a great time.
Dress accordingly.
Exactly.
So it's an exciting time for the country with America 250, the World Cup, and the Olympics. So I'm just curious, what are some of the newsworthy happenings Wisconsin is hoping to amplify right now? If you're kind of piggybacking on some of those celebrations or focusing more on your own self. I mean, you mentioned obviously there's a festival for everything in Wisconsin. Just kind of curious where you see Wisconsin fitting into that larger conversation about all these exciting events.
Yeah, this is such an exciting time for everyone getting to celebrate this one thing together, and each of us get to bring this unique viewpoint. And so that's really how we're approaching it, that we weren't one of the original 13 states, of course, but America is what it is partly because of the story Wisconsin has to tell. So this is going to be a really fun year of us getting to amplify those messages. And I think some of it comes down to some iconic brands. We're the home of Harley Davidson. We've been around for, I think, half now of America's existence. There has been a Harley on the road. We helped build some of the World War II ships, and we're along the Great Lakes. We want to definitely bring that forward. We're also some of the thought leaders of America come from Wisconsin. I think of Frank Lloyd Wright, America's greatest architect.
Oh my gosh.
And we have an incredible variety of offerings to show from his incredible mind.
Yeah.
So everything from a workplace to his home that inspired his thinking, to a schoolhouse, to a place of worship, a conference center, all the ways that he brought beauty and interest in that organic architecture idea. There's examples throughout Wisconsin. And we'll definitely want to talk about that.
I have to be honest, I'm just loving like all the ways that the different states can, celebrate, like you said, these sort of iconic American people or happenings in your way, you know? So it's like the Wisconsin take on America 250. It's just like, it's so great to hear all these different stories. So we talked about cheese briefly. I can talk about cheese all day. It's a whole separate podcast. But what are the trademark sites and experiences that bring people to Wisconsin in addition to the cheese?
Okay, so I'm glad we did that too, because I also can join you on your separate cheese podcast. People think of us for beer, and that's another place where I think that the perception is correct, but also it's a little bit more nuanced than that because it's incredible. It's award-winning type of beer, and then that extends to all of our culinary offerings. Right now in the summer, one of the things I love to do is go to a pizza farm, which is actually a place where...
A pizza farm?
A pizza farm. The farmers invite the public onto their farm, and they have big wood fire burning pizza ovens, and you can actually pick, I'd like this arugula and this tomato on my pizza, have it made right there, and then they'll invite in some local performers, so there'll be music, the whole community, they're sharing tables, the kids are running around, popping little cherry tomatoes in their face, and it's just a special way of how we do things in Wisconsin.
Right. That all being said, there's a lot going on. You've had a lot of success. What are the biggest challenges facing Wisconsin when it comes to travel and tourism?
I think that the big thing has been addressing the perceptions, just kind of resetting perceptions. This idea that it's cold. Yes, it is cold, but it's also, four-season destination like we discussed. And it's also cool, which I want to point out. So
cool locations are having a moment. So.
Yes. I always say it's cool like the Fonz, which actually he's also from Wisconsin. Right. So like I mentioned, the music, the food, and the art is just incredible. The perceptions of, we're all just a bunch of crazy sports fans.
Right.
We are. That's true. But we also are a place of thought leadership. Like we mentioned, Frank Lloyd Wright. We are the home of the largest refracting telescope in the world. And some of the best astrophysicists began their careers in Wisconsin. So it's a place of great influence in the way that we understand the world as humans. We're not one of those destinations that has a single park or a single city. Right. We are a state where it is many things. We are many incredible large and mid-sized cities and endless outdoor recreation opportunities and pockets of communities that you just need to kind of get in there, explore, and spend some time. There's a reason to explore the entire state, top to bottom. The Apostle Islands in the north. They're a national lakeshore in Lake Superior, a collection of islands, and you can actually get from one to another many different ways, and kayak the sea caves in between in the winter. There's sometimes opportunities to see ice in the sea caves, and they'll light them up at night so you can. So anyway,
2025 is sort of, we're calling it the summer of the road trip, that a lot of people are using this time to rediscover domestic travel and rediscover America. So I love this idea that Wisconsin fulfills that in terms of you can develop like a beautiful road trip itinerary connecting the cities because there is so much to see. And so it seems like a great opportunity to also create itineraries and inspire people with longer itineraries to see more of the state. So what is your hope for the future of Wisconsin as a travel destination? Like where, do you hope to see things go from here for the state's travel and tourism industry, say 10 years from now? What's your vision?
It's been a really fun ride the last few years. And we keep saying, God, we might be having a moment. We hosted Ryder Cup. We hosted both national conventions for the political parties. We hosted the draft. We had Top Chef. I think it's momentum at this point. And so the opportunity now is to make sure that folks are seeing it, putting it on their bucket list, and really making a domestic leisure trip priority to land in Wisconsin and really see it for what it is, which is just a four-season place to discover the unexpected. You just don't know what you're going to get into. Just make it the plan to get there and dive right in. Yeah,
I have to say we had our company offsite in Milwaukee in February.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
In the dead of winter. And it was just such a wonderful surprise. Like we talked about the culinary. I mean, we ate so well, and not just cheese. It was just world-class cuisine, cocktails, not just beer. Like it was, I think all these things, again, you talk about like sort of misconceptions or stereotypes. Like it's so nice to go somewhere and sort of have this whole new world open up where you're like, I had no idea that there were all these amazing experiences there. And so it was really great to be able to see and experience that firsthand. And it does feel like that's like an opportunity for you.
Yes. It's exactly it. And I felt that way at the draft too. I was looking around, seeing the folks who are from there welcoming others. And I see it every day, but that was such a stark example of here you are wearing different football team jerseys, and all these Packer fans want to do is give you a hug. They just want you to have a great time. They want you to taste my beer, try this cheese curd, be a part of this, be involved. Wisconsin's hospitality is so genuine. Yeah. And we want you to have a blast.
Like, do you feel, I feel like that's like one of your big, it's like Wisconsinites are your big selling point. Like,
yes, I just want to thank all of them when I see them in action. Like, you are the reason this state is so very special. Yeah. There's just a lot of love and friendliness there that is real. And people always say it, but it is true.
It is. Yeah. It's so exciting. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
I am such an Afar fan. So this has been a delight. Thank you very much for having me.
Thanks for joining this episode of View from Afar. In the show notes, you'll find links to the topics we discussed, Travel Wisconsin's website and social handles, and links to our recent Wisconsin coverage. And be sure to follow along this week to hear more interviews with industry experts. You can find more Views from Afar on afar.com, and be sure to follow us on Instagram and TikTok. We're at Afar Media. If you enjoyed today's conversation, I hope you'll come back for more great interviews. Subscribing always makes that easy. And be sure to rate and review the show on your favorite podcast platforms. This has been View from Afar, a production of Afar Media. The podcast is produced by Aislinn Green and Nikki Golteland, with assistance from Michelle Barron and Billy Cohen. Music composition from Epidemic Sound. This podcast is part of the Airwave Media Podcast Network. Visit airwavemedia.com to listen and subscribe to their other fine shows like Culture Kids and the Explorers Podcast.